Welcome guys, welcome to the session of smart calculation. Are you smart enough to handle these kind of calculation without the use of pen? Or this one, or this one, this one, this one. I know you guys must be feeling like this right now. But don't worry, at the end of this session you will be able to handle these kind of calculations. So let's start the class. So first thing first, I hope you remember these reciprocal equivalent of percentages. So you must remember the reciprocal of percentages till 1 by 30. But this is not the part of today's curriculum. Today I am going to handle these kind of calculations. So in SBI PO exam or IBPS PO exam, you have to solve data interpretation, you have to solve simplification questions, and you have to convert these kind of questions in terms of percentages. And you have a limited time there. So you cannot solve them by the traditional method. So today we will learn how to handle these kind of calculations without the help of pen. So let's notice few things. What do you mean by percentage? Percentage means if 1069 is equivalent to 100, then 1132 is equivalent to what? Am I right? Okay. So first we notice that 1132 is more than 100%. It is more than 1069. So it means my answer should be more than 100%. So if there is only one option among them, only one option is more than 100%, that will be my answer. Okay, now if there are two or more options are more than 100%, then I will look the difference. So can I write 1132 as 1069 plus somewhere around 63? Now you can easily visualize. Now you have to visualize this in mind. You need not to use the pen. Now this is actually 100%. And this is, what is this? Now 1% of the denominator is approximately 10. So this is approximately 6%. And if 1% is 10.7, if you are taking it is slightly less than 6%. So answer should be around 106%. Or I can say slightly less than 106%. So it means answer anything around 106% should be my answer. I hope you got it. Okay. Let's take another example. Now we have to solve this. So there is no traditional method. We will take our decision according to the question. Now what will I do in this question? I can easily visualize if this is 100%, I can visualize the 10%, 1%. What is 10% of the denominator? It should be 276.5, approximately 275. And what is 1% of the denominator? It is 27.65 or approximately 27.8. You can say it. So just visualize the 10% and 1% of the denominator. Now, first thing you must notice that it is slightly more than 20%. Why? Because 10% is 275. Then what should be 20%? So 20% should be 550. So now this value is more than 550. So answer should be more than 20%. But the question arises, how much percent more than 20%? So you can visualize the difference in your mind that this value is approximately 74 more than 550. Now if 1% is 28, 74 is more than 2% but less than 3%, because 2% will be around 56 and 3% will be around 84. So it means 76, the difference is 75, the difference is more than 2% but less than 6%. So answer should be more than 22% but less than 23%. So you can choose your option according to that. And have faith over me, इससे ज़्यादा फर्क नहीं, इससे ज़्यादा वो नहीं होगा. So you can choose your option according to that. Okay, let's move ahead. Now we have to calculate this. Okay, let's do this. What is 1% of the denominator? Isn't it approximately 7? What is 41? It is approximately 6%. So answer should be approximately 6%. Because 1% is 7. If you multiply 6 to both sides, so answer is approximately 6%. Am I right? Let's take another example. Now we have to solve this. Attack the denominator. Visualize the 10% and the 1% of the denominator. What is 10% of the denominator? Can you visualize it as 2.95, or you can take it approximately as 3? And 10% of the denominator is 3, then you can visualize that the numerator is more than 4 times of this. So first thing we notice that the answer is more than 40%. Now, how much more than 40%? Because 40% should be approximately 12, because 10% is 3. Then the difference is 0.71. Now you can visualize 1%. 1% of the denominator is 0.295, or you can say approximately 0.3. And here the difference is 0.71. So 0.71 is more than 2%, we can easily visualize, because 2% of this will be 0.6. So it is more than 2% and slightly more than 2%. So answer should be slightly more than 42%. So I can take a hunch as 42.4% approximately, or 42.3% approximately. So answer should be somewhere around it. I hope we agree, we are on the same page. Let's take another example. What is the first thing we are realizing here? That the answer should be slightly less than 20%. So my take will be around 19 to 19.2%. Why? Because you can visualize that 20% of the denominator, because 10% of the denominator is somewhere around 208, 207.8, you can take it as 208, 20% should be 416. Now this is 400, slightly less than 20%. Now, how can I say it is more than 19%? Because the difference in this value and this value is 16, and 16 is less than 1%. You can visualize 1% of the denominator is approximately 21 or 20.78, and the difference is 16, which is less than 1%. So if I subtract a value which is less than 1% from 20, I will get a value which is more than 19%. So answer of this question should be slightly more than 19%. Let's take another example. Now we have to handle this calculation. Of course, many of you will be fade away in the examination hall by looking at this. But understand one thing. Now I will take another method. I will take approximate value of this, because the values are very huge. So 2388 is very near to 2400. So if I take it as 2400, so I can visualize that the numerator is approximately 1/4, or I can say more than 1/4 of the denominator. So first thing I am noticing that the answer should be greater than 25%. So this is the first thing I am noticing. Because now my point is, how much more than 25%? So if there is 600, answer should be 25%, 1/4 of 2400, but the difference is approximately 33. Now 33 you can visualize is more than 1%, because 1% of the denominator should be 24, and 33 is more than 1%. So answer should be around how much more than 1%? So I can take a hunch as 1.3 or 1.4%. So 25% is this, and this is around 1.4%. So answer should be around 26.4%. You can calculate it through calculator, and my answer will be very much near to that. But guys, you need to do these things in your mind. Now let's take another example. Now I have to calculate this. You can visualize the 10% of the denominator. It is 18.6. Now you can do in lot of methods, because if 10% of the denominator is 18.6, so what should be 40% of the denominator? So if you multiply it by 4, so it will be around 72 plus 4 to 2.4, it is 74.4. तो अगर यहाँ पे 74.4 होता तो आंसर कितना होता? It must be 40%. But this value is slightly more than that. And how much more than that? So you can visualize it is approximately 4 more than that. Now you can visualize 1% of the denominator is 1.86. What is 4% of the denominator? What is 4? It is approximately 3%, I can say. So 4 is approximately 3%. Or you can say approximately 2 point something percent, 2.5%. So it means my answer should be very near to 42.5%. Okay, let's take few examples more. First, what you need to do in the examination hall, first you look at the options. You should look at the options. Why? Because the options will give you an idea how to calculate the required percentage. So deliberately I showed the options first, and then I am going to show you the question. Now the question in front of you is 74 divided by 132. You have to calculate this. Now how will you calculate this? 74 divided by 132. Look at the options. Options are very near to 50%. What will I do? I will just visualize the 50% of this. If the numerator is more than that, answer should be more than 50%. If the numerator is less than that, answer should be less than 50%. If the numerator is far more than that, the answer should be far more than 50%. If the numerator is far less than that, then the answer should be far less than 50%. Options are very near to 50%. What will I do? I will find the 50% of this. And you can easily visualize that 50% of this should be 66. Now this 74 is obviously more than that. So answer is more than 50%. So it means this option will cancel out, and this option will also cancel out, because answer is not so much more that it will cross 60% limit. Now I am left with two options. Now there is a significant difference. What is the difference between 74 and 66? The difference is of 8. Now you can visualize, if 66 is 50%, then what is 8? Of course it is far more than 2%. So because what is 1% of this? 1.32. And 8 is far more than 2%. So it means answer cannot be 52%. So what is the option left with me? 56%. So under this condition, what will I take? 56%. Let's take another example. Now this is the question in front of me. The options are very near to 30%. It means I get an idea that when the question arises in front of me, I will calculate the 30% of the denominator and I will get my answer. So let's take this. Now this is my question. What is 10% of the denominator? Can I take it as 78.6? I am not approximating it because the values are small enough. So I will not approximate it. What is 30? What should be 30%? And options are very close. So that's why I am not going to approximate it. What should be 30%? So 70 into 3, 210. 8 into 3, 24. And 0.6 into 3, 1.8. Am I right? So it should be 234, 235.8. Now guys, 235.8 is 30%. But you can visualize that it is 234. Can you visualize it is slightly less than that? So what does it mean? It means that the answer should be slightly less than 30%. Now which option is slightly less than 30%? Of course this option is slightly less than 30%. So my answer is option 2. Let's take another example. You can visualize that the options are very near to 5%, 10%. So by looking at the option, I got an idea how will I calculate the question. Now this is the question in front of me. Okay, answer is very near to 5%. Of course it is more than 5%, but it is not so much more that it will be 7%. So my take will be 5%. Answer is 5% here. I can visualize it. What is 10%? 965, 5%, 480 something. It is it is slightly less than 5%, not more than. But answer should be 5. According to the condition, I will take over this. Let's take another example. These are the options. Options are very near to 20%. It means I will visualize the 20% of the denominator. Now let's see this. Okay, what is 10% of the denominator? Isn't it 26? So if the 10% of the denominator is 26, then the 20% of the denominator should be 52. Now answer is more than that or less than that? Of course less than that. So this cannot be my answer. But of course answer is not less than 10%. So this cannot be my answer. And 45.5 is slightly less than 52. Not so much less that it will become 14%. It is slightly less than that. Because the difference is of only 6.5. And 6.5 is around 2% or 2% of this. Slightly more than 2%, but not so much, not around 6%. So if I deduct 2% from the 18%, 20%, I will reach to 18%. Okay, according to the options, by looking at the options, I can visualize that the answer is 10, somewhere around 10 to 20%. Let's see, this is my answer. This is my question, sorry. What is your take? I think my take should be option 4. Why? Because you can visualize 10% of the denominator is approximately 6600. What should be 5% of the denominator? Approximately 3300. So what should be 15% of the denominator? Approximately 9900. And you can visualize that this value is very near to 9900. So it means my answer should be very near to 9900. Am I right? Let's take another example. Now these are my options. Options are very near to 30%. Okay. Now this is my question. So I will calculate the 30% of the denominator because options are very near to 30%. What is 10% of the denominator? Isn't it 8.5? What should be 30% of the denominator? So if you multiply it by 3 to both sides, 30% of the denominator must be 24 plus 1.5, 25.5. Now you can visualize 24.5 is slightly less than that. So it means answer should be slightly less than 30%. Now look at the options. Which option is slightly less than 30%? Of course option 3 is slightly less than 30%. So my answer should be option 3 here. Okay, let's take another example. Options are very near to 10% or slightly more than and slightly less than 10%. Here is the question. Of course, answer should be slightly less than 10% because 10% is 72 and this value is 62, slightly less than 72. So answer should be slightly less than 10%. Now which option is slightly less than 10%? Condition answer is option 1. If you have to calculate it more accurately, the difference is approximately 10 or 11 and 1% of the denominator is 7. So 10 and 11 is approximately 1 or 1.2 or 1.3%. So answer should be approximately 8.5% or 8.6%. But according to the options, I will tick on the option number 1 here. Now, here are my options. Here is my question. So what is 10% of the denominator? 7.6. This value is less than that. So it means answer should be less than 10%. Which option? Option 3rd. Now, values are very near to 20%. This is my option. 10% is 75. This value is more than 10% but slightly more than 10%. But not it will not become 15%. Why? Because 10% of the denominator is 75. So what should be 5% of the denominator? Isn't it 37.5? So if you add them, 15% will be more than 100. It should be around 112.5. But this value is far less than that. So answer is not 15%, but it is more than 10%. So which should be my answer? Options first. Okay, let's take the last question in this series. Option you can easily see. Here is the question. Question is very big. Most of the students will fade away in the examination hall by looking at it only. But you can visualize that the answer is more than 10%. Because 10% of the denominator will be 6459.7. This value is slightly more than that. So according to the condition, which should be my answer? Of course option 3 is my answer. I am not saying answer should be accurately 11%. I think it should be slightly more than that. But according to the condition, this should be my answer. Because 15% will become around more than 9,000, 96,000 around. So of course. Now let's apply these concepts on actual data interpretation. So here is a data set in front of you. First we will understand what this data set is telling us. Following table gives the total sales of car in different states in 4 quarters of financial year 2018 and 2019. Study the following table and give the answers to the questions. What this data is giving? It is giving the sales of car in different states and in different quarters of 2019. So quarter 1 of 2019, quarter 2 of 2019, and sales figure of the cars is given to you. Okay. So it is a financial year from April 18 to March 19. Of course, you understand the financial year. Here values are huge, so it means calculation will be huge. Let's handle them. Sales of car in UP is what percent of the sales of cars in the given state for the complete year? This is my first question. So sales of car in UP is what percent of the overall sales of car in the given state? What is the sales of car in UP? So you can visualize the sales of the car in UP is 299,816. What is the overall sales of car in all the states together? 984,449. We have to calculate this percentage. You can visualize that this answer, by looking at the options, answers are very near to 30%. But this value is approximate, is actually 30% answer. Why? Because you can visualize that 10% is 98,444, approximately 1 lakh, and this is approximately 3 lakh, very near to 3 lakh, almost 3 lakh. So 10% is 1 lakh and this is 3 lakh. So it means answer is of course 30%. Keep your mind open in the examination hall. Look at the values. Don't use the pen. Now look here. Second question is, total sales of car in Punjab in first 2 quarters is approximately what percent less than the total sales of car in Haryana in first 2 quarters? What is the total sale of Punjab in first 2 quarters? It will be the sum of 27906 and the 27014, and the sum is 54920. You can add them easily. 27 54 hota hai, and 954 it is somewhere around 54,900. Now the sales of Haryana in first 2 quarters is 48 for approximately 49,000 plus 44,000. It should be around 93,000. Now the question is 54920 is what percent less than 932459. So we have to find the difference first, and this difference is what percent of 54920? Total sales, what percent less than the total sales of car of Haryana? Haryana is the base of Haryana is the base of this question. So it means 38339 is what percent of 93259? Now how I calculated it is as 40%. First, I visualized the options, and the options are very near to 40%. Then what I did actually, look at the block. 10% of this should be around 9325, and 10% is around 9325. Then this is how much percent? So of course more than 10% is, let's say 9,000 and slightly more than 9,000. Then 40% should be around 36,000. What is the difference from 9,000? It is approximately 300. So what is 4 times of 300? It is 1,200. So 40% should be around 36,000 plus 1,200, or you can say around 37,000. But this value is still more than that. So answer should be still more than 40%. Answer should be 41%. So what was the question? Question was, the sales of Punjab in first 2 quarters is what percent less than the sales of Haryana in first 2 quarters. So this value is what percent less than that. The difference is this. Base is this. 10% of the denominator is 9325. This value is more than 4 times of this. Slightly more than 4 times of this. So it means answer should be slightly more than 40%. And because the answer should be slightly more than 40%, then only option left is option C. Now here is another question. I am reading the question for you. What is the percentage increase of sales of cars in Haryana from Q1 to Q4? What is the percentage increase in the sales of Haryana from Q1 to Q4? So what is the sale of Haryana in Q1? 48831. What is the sales of Haryana in Q4? 52753. I have to calculate the percentage increase. How I will calculate it orally? So I can visualize, I can that the value is approximately, it is changing from 49 to 53. Can I visualize it? But can I take it as 49,000 and 53,000 if I round them off? And if I ignore that thousand part, it means the value is changing from 49 to 53. The change is of 4 on 49. Now you can round it this 49 as 50, then the 4 by 50 is approximately 8%. What should be the answer? Option D. Now this is my next question. Total sales of car in Haryana and Punjab together is how much percent more than the total sales of car in Uttaranchal and Himachal Pradesh together in this year? तो पहले मैं क्या निकालूंगा? फर्स्ट आई विल कैलकुलेट द टोटल सेल्स ऑफ पंजाब एंड हरियाणा. तो टोटल सेल्स ऑफ पंजाब एंड हरियाणा टुगेदर इज दिस मच, एंड द टोटल सेल ऑफ उत्तरांचल एंड हिमाचल इज this much. Now the question is, this value is how much percent more than this value? So you can visualize that this value is more than thrice of this value. This is, if you take it as 9 and if you take it as 29.8 or 30, so 30 is more than thrice of 9. If it is more than thrice of 9, then it means answer should be more than 200%. I hope you know that if the value is exactly thrice of any value, then the difference is 200%. If my salary increases by let's say it becomes three-folds of the present salary, then my growth will be 200%. So it means here it is more than thrice, then answer growth should be more than 200%. So which the only option which is more than 200%? Option C is my answer. Okay, now let's take another example. This is the last question of today's class. So if sales of cars in Chandigarh in next year means the next financial year, is 15% more than the sales of car in Q4, then what will be the sales of car in Chandigarh in the next quarter? Present sale of the Chandigarh in the last quarter is this 8773, and if I have to increase anything by 15%, it means I should calculate that I should calculate the 115% of the previous value. 15% increase, anything is 100%. If I increase it by 15%, then the new value should be 115% of the previous value. So it means I will calculate the 115% of 8773, or I will just add the 15% of 8773 in it, and the answer should be around 10,000. So answer is D for Delhi. So I hope you enjoyed the session, and I hope now you are comfortable, little bit more comfortable than after this session in these calculations. Thank you for attending it live. Bye bye.